Hello everybody. Now in this particular video we are going to see about the requirements of one particular actuator, which is steering. Alright, we will see about the steering requirements as per a stipulated standard. The standard is UNEC R79, steering system regulation for automated feature. And this regulation number 79 is a key international standard governing steering equipment in motor vehicles, including traditional automated steering systems. And the regulation ensures safety, reliability, performance, and especially for vehicles equipped for advanced driver assistance systems and automated driving assistance systems. Okay, now what is the scope of this UNEC R79? It applies to passenger cars, trucks and buses with automated steering functions. Okay, so it applies majorly for passenger cars, trucks and buses with automated steering functions, and it covers both traditional and electronically controlled steering, for example electric power steering and also steer by wire. Now it also includes provisions for automated lane keeping systems, ALKS R157 and other automated driving features. Okay, so this is the scope of the UNECE R79. Now what are the major key requirements for automated steering systems? The biggest most important requirement is general system steering system safety. Okay, this word is extremely important. The system safety is the most important thing, and when it comes to safety, the mechanical integrity, it must withstand forces up to 2.5 max steering input torque without failure, and it also includes a backup mechanical linkage required for steer by wire systems unless exempted under new amendments. Under new amendments this is exempted, but as per the old amendments this is still mandatory. Okay, so there has to be a mechanical backup linkage. So if the steer by wire is failing, then backup mechanical linkage can take up as a fail safe mechanism, but nowadays this backup mechanical linkage is being exempted. Now when it comes to failure modes and redundancy, the failure operation for fail-safe behavior required for automated steering, and if the primary system fails, a backup system must must maintain control or safety disengage. Okay, so this is what covers this is what circumscribes the fail modes and redundancies. Now coming to the driver override capability, the driver must be able to override automated steering by applying torque to the vehicle. So this is important, especially for L3, where the driver is sometimes requested to take over the vehicle. The torque must be such that the driver's strength, physical strength, is capable to override the automated steering, and this also includes the haptic feedback must be provided to indicate system status. Now coming to the specific requirements for automated systems, the automated lane keeping systems ALKS R157 integration and steering must comply with R79 plus R17 used for lane keeping. Okay, so it must comply with both these standards when used for lane keeping, and it must also ensure smooth transition between manual and automated modes. So whenever there is an automated mode and a manual mode, the transition must happen seamlessly. That is the main important requirement. Now what is the requirement of the steer by wire? As per the amendment 3 2021, it allows the fully electric steering without mechanical linkage. Because the fully electronic steering has become very reliable nowadays. Initially when fully electronic steering was not 100% reliable, it was enforced that mechanical linkage must always be available as a fail-safe mechanism or as a backup mechanism. But now that electronic steering has become fully reliable, this mechanical linkage has become redundant. Okay, now it requires two independent ECUs and dual supplies, and most importantly it must pass the cyber security UNECE R155, which is the regulation for steer by wire systems, and also of course the ISO 26262, which is a functional safety. And I am sure everybody understand why this is ASIL-D, because failure of steering can lead to fatality, and that's why it's a very critical system. Now coming to the hands off detection, The torque sensors or captivating sensor sensing must detect driver presence, and if hands off for too long, the system must issue escalating warnings, whereby it reduces the minimum risk maneuver. All right. Now coming to the performance and testing requirements, you please see this particular table which is on the right side. The steering torque should be less than 10 Newton meter for light vehicles, and it should be less than 25 Newton meter for trucks. And when it comes to steering delay, it should be less than 500 milliseconds for automated corrections, and it must return to the center, must self-centered after automated turn. The steering should automatically come back to the center. This is a important requirement. Okay, so these are all the steering effort and responsive requirements. Now coming to the environmental and durability testing, the temperature range is -40 to 85 degrees operation, and EMC, it must resist the interference of 15 ISO 11452. This is the EMC interference standard. Okay, now coming to vibration and shock, it must survive 50,000. It must survive 50,000 steering cycles without degradation. So this is the minimum number of steering cycles which the vehicle must work efficiently. Now coming to the cyber security, UNEC R155 compliance is the most important compliance, and with this the secure boot, encryption, intrusion detection required for SBW. SBW means steer by wire, and it also should have an unauthorized access prevention. Example, CAN bus hacking. I mean, no outsider should be able to control the steering by hacking the CAN bus. This is of primary importance. Now what is the compliance for automated driving L2, L3 and L4? Okay, these are the automation levels, and these are the R79 steering requirements. When it comes to L2, driver must monitor, therefore it must enable the torque override, and L3 must detect hands off and minimum requirement maneuver if the driver fails, acronym is MRM, and L4 it should have full redundancy and no driver fallback needed. So these are the various requirements based on the automated driving levels. Now what are the various recent updates? What are the based on some recent regulations? Okay, now this is the most important regulation. Approval of steer by wire without mechanical backup. As I explained previously, when steer by wire was introduced, there was some ambiguity or there was some kind of hesitation by the OEMs to totally rely by this on the steer by wire, because people were not, engineers were not sure about the reliability of the steer by wire. But now that steer by wire has become very reliable and very robust, companies have decided, or the regulation bodies have decided, that this is not required anymore. Mechanical backup is not required anymore, and also harmonization with ISO 26262 SLD for critical failures. Also enhanced cyber security requirements. Now coming to the cyber certification process, these are very important, because without this certification process, the concerned steering mechanism cannot be sold in the market. Now the first certification process, type approving testing, of course, and it should be conducted by certified labs, certified by TUV or DECRA. Now TUV is concerned with the European testing regulation. Now tests include failure, rejection, EMC and endurance. Now coming to the documentation required, well, again this is very important. This documentation is important to document the technical specifications, and also to record the risk assessment based on ISO 26262 or ISO 21448, which is SOTIF. Okay, safety of the intended functionality, that's what SOTIF stands for. Now coming to the cyber security report and comparison with the other regulations, see this table. When it comes to regulation, UNECE R15117, and when you concentrate on the ALKS, this R79 ensures safety complies with R157, and when it comes to ISO 26262, which is ASIL D level, and this is required by R79 steer by wire systems. So R79 steer by wire system ensures that ISO 26262 ASIL D is fulfilled. Now coming to the UNECE R155, the cyber security and is mandatory for electronic steering. As I said, without cyber security, there is a scope, some external mechanism or external third party or crooked party can steer your vehicle without the requirement of the driver or without the knowledge of the driver. Okay, so these are the important regulations as far as this UNECE R155 is concerned. So in conclusion, this UNECE R79 ensures safe and reliable steering both traditional and automated vehicles, and it should have redundancy and fail safety, a mandatory for automated steering, and steer buyer is now allowed with strict cyber security, and compliance requires type approval, safety testing and cyber security measures. Okay, so these are the various requirements of the steering mechanism, that too strictly in the perspective of ALKS, automatic lane keeping systems. All right, hope everybody understood the importance of this steering requirements. Thank you.